Hello and welcome to another episode of Happy Doomsday. Apologies for my voice today. I'm feeling very ill. Fuck knows what I have. I had like this viral infection last week and it's just come right back up again this week. So it might be something serious. But we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Anyone want to diagnose me, just shoot it in the comments below. But alas, the show must go on. So here we are. And good thing we are here as well, because there are a lot of things to get through. A lot of fun things to get through. Controversial slightly. I wonder what that could be. But we should be getting through them regardless. Nonetheless. So let's go. With the first topic of the day, we are talking Silver Surfer. Oh, is this something, is there news on the Silver Surfer? Did they cast somebody? I feel like they did. I feel like the internet are fine with it. No? Well, let's see. Fantastic Four, Julia Garner joins Marvel Studios as Shala Bal version of Silver Surfer. This is coming to us from Deadline, report by Justin Kroll. Exclusive, with 4 actors set to play the iconic members of the super team, Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four now has its sights set on who will play the Silver Surfer. It looks like they were going with one of the town's biggest rising stars. Sources tell Deadline that the Emmy winner, Julia Garner, is set to play the iconic comic book character in Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four. Pedro Pascal will play Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic. Vanessa Kirby is Sue Storm, aka the Invisible Woman. Joseph Quinn is Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch. And Eben Moss Bacharach is Ben Grimm, aka The Thing. WandaVision helmer Matt Shankman is directing Fantastic Four, off a script by Josh Friedman, Jeff Kaplan and Eric Pearson, and Ian Springer. Production will start this summer, and the film is set to bow on July 25th, 2025. Marvel Studios had no comment. While plot details for this film are unknown, sources say Garner will play Shala Bal, a version of Silver Surfer from the comics. Garner's star has been risen ever since she won her first of 3 Emmys for playing Ruth on the Netflix crime drama Ozark. She also landed an Emmy nomination for her portrayal of Anna Delvey on the limited series Inventing Anna. Since the end of Ozark, Garner has built out her film slate, starting with the recently released The Royal Hotel. Next up, she has the Blumhouse and Universal pick Wolfman, which I'm so excited for, in which she will start opposite Christopher Abbott, and also a Paramount thriller Apartment 7A. She's rep by UTA and LBI Entertainment. Not that that matters. Okay. So, it's funny how people are so vexed about this. Like, it's so funny to me. It's actually hilarious to me. Because at the end of the day, being a dude has nothing to do with Silver Surfer. Like, his genitals have nothing to do with the character. Like, it's literally this alien being void of any emotion, void of any personality. So Julia Garner playing the Silver Surfer, not putting a gender to it, but playing the Silver Surfer is fine. Like, it's so funny but I love seeing the angry sort of msheu and all of those like silly incels just screaming up the top of their lungs because the Silver Surfer isn't being played by a dude. At the end of the day, Marvel have like shown in the past that they're not afraid to veer away from the comics. Hawkeye and Black Widow were never sort of founding members of the Avengers in the comic books. Nick Fury was a white man in the comic books. Bruce was never involved in the creation of Ultron in the comics. Ego, the planet, was never Peter Quill's father. Like Peter Parker never dated the Vulture's daughter in the comics. But these things happen in the MCU, and no one batted an eyelid. But as soon as it comes to casting a woman to play an alien being that has normally been played or portrayed as a man, even although he's basically just a silver being, but okay, has normally been played by a man, okay, with Doug Jones portraying the body and Lawrence Fishburne the voice in Tim Story's Fantastic Fours. So yes, previously he has been portrayed by a man, but there's nothing to show that he has to be a man or be portrayed by a man. As long as they nailed the characteristics of Silver Surfer, which is this void of emotion, void of any personality, I am here to let you guys know that Galactus is coming. That's literally all he has to be, a servant to Galactus until he becomes a bit more aware, and the fact that like, oh, maybe he's not the best person in the world to follow, and that he goes to these planets beforehand to send warnings. Like, he doesn't need to be a man or a woman. It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. And the fact that like Lakeith Stanfield, after the casting has been announced, took to Instagram to say, oh, I thought it was me. I thought it was going to be me, doing his little Asa Butterfield. So the fact that he was in contention shows that Marvel just auditioned everyone. They auditioned everybody, and Julia happened to fit the role perfectly in terms of what they were looking for. And the fact that they were both auditioning men and women shows they were just looking for the best person for the job. And the fact she was able to deliver that shows that we should have faith in her casting. Like, it's just a bunch of baloney. Honestly, if you're mad at her being cast as Silver Surfer, there is nothing other than your inert sexism coming out, because nothing in the comics nothing in the comics show exactly that they need to be a man or a woman. We've shown that Marvel veers away from comic books when it suits their story plot, and it also further proof with Lakeith being considered that they were going for whoever best fit the role, and that Julie happened to fit the role. So I'm not mad at this at all. I'm happy to see her get work. I think she's a great talent. I'm not a Ozark watcher, but I've seen episodes here and there, and she is great in what I've seen her. So I'm not opposed to this in the slightest. My only worry is that we might be having, so obviously with Silver Surfer comes Galactus. They're a hand-in-hand kind of pair tandem. So I'm not mad at that. But the fact we've got Silver Surfer, Galactus, we're also introducing Frank Richards. We're also dropping Herbie in there. We're also introducing Doom. So it just feels like it could be a lot. Doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing, because there have been examples of comic book adaptations successfully, like shoehorning a lot of characters in. And obviously there are a lot of examples of it not working. So it just depends on how it's been written and how much weight we're putting into sort of each story and where our focus is. I hope our focus remains with the main four, despite having all of these villains show up. But I doubt that it will I doubt that it'll sort of supersede the time we're given with the Fantastic Four, because at the end of the day we need to establish this family and the chemistry between them, and that only happens with more screen time and more runtime. So I don't doubt that we are getting enough Fantastic Four in this. It's just a slight worry, but I'm confident in the team they've put together. WandaVision was one of the best Marvel shows that they sort of dropped in recent times. Especially, we thought we were on for a great track record with WandaVision. I mean, I wasn't crazy about the finale and the sort of the way they handled Quicksilver, but it was sort of a great start. Not a lot of sort of shows were able to reach the heights that a WandaVision did. Because I remember when WandaVision was dropping every week, people were going to Twitter, going to Instagram or YouTube or whatever it is, and sort of just like talking about it, and it became a water cooler sort of show. And I feel like Loki followed that through as well, but they sort of missed the mark on the other ones. So having the WandaVision team back for this makes sense. As well as their like sort of their take on the multiverse is sort of looking like that's the take they want to go with, especially the take that they showed in Loki as well. So as opposed to sort of the multiverse of madness, Sam Raimi obviously didn't watch WandaVision, so it just kind of like a lot of it contradicted a little bit, and it just felt like somebody made this without having seen the previous source material that leads into this. Do you know what I mean? So it felt a little disconnected and disjointed. But having the team behind WandaVision do this just means that hopefully we get that cohesion, and so I'm in complete, like, I have complete faith in the team they're putting together. I'm so excited about the fact that it's set in the early 60s. I love that time period. That time period is so like fascinating to me, whether it's sort of the end of the industrial revolution, the coming of sort of like of liberal politics coming to the forefront because people are mad about the treatment of of troops in America at Vietnam, or sort of like, so it comes with that sort of newfound liberalism comes this newfound wave of art in like the Beatles and the Stones and the British invasion. So like there's so much to do with just that time period, and putting a family of superheroes in there, you know, the JFK's assassination. There's just so much rich material to play with in that time period, and introducing the Fantastic Four there where they're meant to be is just amazing, and I can't wait to see it. So Julia Garner, Silver Surfer, what do you guys think? They've obviously feel like they've gotten the right choice. Do you guys think they've gotten the right choice? And hopefully it's nothing to do with you being a sexist twat, and if it is, put it in there so we can argue. But yeah, I've got no quarry, I've got no worries with it, and especially they've also like made it semi-clear that this is an alternate universe, and that she might not be the only Silver Surfer we see in the MCU. Like, she might be the one that's introduced to us in this first film, but she might not be the Earth 616 Silver Surfer. She might not be, and maybe they're saving Lakeith for that, or maybe they'll still use Julia for that. I don't know, but like, calm down. People need to, like, we've gotten so many like case studies and examples of people just going crazy before they actually watch the film and understand what they're going for. So like, hold your opinions until then. If your worry is story wise and it's nothing to do with the fact that she's a female, which I don't understand why you would have any worries other than that, because that's all they're presenting to us right now. Maybe your worries is that there's too much villains, like I'm sort of slightly worried about. Then sweet, we wait until the movie. Just like we're gonna wait and to see, because there are too many examples in the past that have proved us wrong. So let's take a breather and let's wait until it comes out. Let's wait until July 2025 and then make your decision. Okay? The fact that Lakeith didn't get it is a bit like, I always wanted Lakeith in the Fantastic Four. If you'd ever seen my old Fantastic Four videos on my old channel, I wanted him as Human Torch. I thought he would have been a great Human Torch. I'm not mad at Joseph Quinn. I think that's an amazing shout as well. So I'm not mad at that at all. I don't really like. I see he probably could do a great job as Silver Surfer. But I just think you're wasting so much of like just his personality and charisma by putting him as this sort of monotone, like no personality, just like I'm here to present you guys with a message type of character. I feel like there's more for him to do in the MCU, so I'm glad he wasn't cast as Silver Surfer. I hope the reason behind it is because, obviously I hope that it's because Julia was the best choice and that's why they cast her, but I also feel like in the back of their head they're like, we could keep Lakeith for something special, like really something special, and I hope they do that. I do hope they do that. Okay, moving on to the next topic, coming to us from The Hollywood Reporter. Supergirl movie finds director with Craig Gillespie. The I, Tonya and Cruella Helmer will handle duties on the DC project. It's up and away for Craig Gillespie, who is in talks to helm Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. The filmmaker joins James Gunn and Andy Muschietti among the filmmakers building out the slate of projects for DC Studios, the Warner Brothers division led by Gunn and Peter Safran. With Gillespie, DC gains a tired and true Helmer, known for putting a grounded yet stylish spin on projects such as Disney's Cruella and the skating drama I, Tonya and TV's Pam and Tommy. He was last in theatres with GameStop movie Dumb Money. Supergirl stars House of Dragons' Millie Alcock, who will play Kara Zor-El, the cousin of Superman. This feature is inspired by the Tom King and Bill Kes Everly comic and will depart from the earnest take on the characters audience may know from the CW Supergirl series. We will see the difference between Superman, who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents from the time he was an infant, versus Supergirl, who was raised on a rock, a chip off Krypton, and who watched everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life, and then come to Earth, Gunn told reporters in early 2023. Ana Nogueira penned the script for the project, which does not have a release date. DC Studios is currently in production on Superman, its first feature. Okay, wicked. Couple things. They seem very happy with this script because she's also penning Teen Titans, so means that they must be happy with the way the script comes out. And the quotes that James Gunn sort of came out with is so so refreshing. Just because like a lot of people loved Melissa Benoit's portrayal of Kara in the CW, and it had its fans, and the CW show had its fans, which is great. But it just felt too similar in tone to who Clark was, and just I feel like that's what they were going for. And there have been incarnations of Kara like that, so there's no problem. Fair enough, that's the take you're going for. But I always thought it was just a missed opportunity because she isn't Clark. She has memories from Krypton. She's his older cousin. She remembers what it's like to live on that planet, and literally, like that sort of quote said, see everybody die in front of her eyes. Like, she's old enough to remember all of this, and she's gonna have a chip on her shoulder, and it's gonna be a little darker, and I like that. Like, I'm not the type of person that just like, let's just make things dark for dark's sake. Like, that will never be me. But it makes sense with Kara, and especially with sort of Women of Tomorrow and the way they're taking this story, because it's like, this girl's probably not going to be in the best like mindset in the beginning of this show, of the film, sorry. And I think Millie Alcock is perfect for that. I think that's why they cast her. Like, they saw her in Game of Thrones and like, oh, she's a little like deviant, she's got a chip on her shoulder, she's got something to prove, she's a little like, she's got a little edge to her. And I think those are the qualities that are gonna make her an amazing Kara. The Woman of the Woman of Tomorrow storyline in the comic books is such an interesting take they're gonna go with. The fact that she's just, like I said, the start of this, she's just gonna be so down and out and just like a huge chip on her shoulder. She's like, I'm done with this, bro. I just watched everyone I ever loved die. I'm gonna have to fucking end up in some planet that I'm not used to, I'm not accustomed to, and I don't want to be there. Like, I'm lonely and I'm isolated. And then she gets this glimmer of hope and inspiration from this young alien girl that needs help because her planet has also been destroyed. She needs help seeking revenge on the person who destroyed her planet. And doing that, sort of, Kara gets inspired to sort of get off her cape, and go seek revenge on the person that destroyed this young alien's planet. So her and Crypto, which works for a James Gunn universe because he loves using sort of animal sidekicks. So her and Crypto go on this solo adventure to avenge this girl and her sort of planet. And I think inadvertently she's doing it because it's like avenging her lost planet. Do you know what I mean? It's like the whole like Andrew Garfield saving Zendaya, like Peter's MJ because he couldn't save Gwen's MJ, so it's a slight closure. So I feel like she'll get that slight closure from avenging this girl's planet and defeating the person that destroyed her planet. And then from then she can go on to becoming the hopeful Supergirl. Do you know what I mean? We've gotten this story to show what she went through to become who she is. You know, she doesn't have the luxury of being raised by Papa and Mama Kent in Smallville. She doesn't have that luxury. So she needs to find her own way to get to that light. And this sounds amazing. I think the ability to let's just keep this completely in space, man. I would love this. Let's just we don't need to be in Earth on this. Like, we barely need to be on. We don't even need to see Earth in this movie. Like, let's just have some like dope ass visuals of like these great like extraterrestrial like creatures and some amazing like planet settings and take us on a real journey of what this DCU can be. In terms of Greg Gillespie directing this, I mean, his track record speaks for itself. I, Tonya is incredible. He was able to pull a great performance from Margot, probably her best. So if he was able to do that, Cruella was great. Again, great performance by his female lead. So the guy has a track record of pulling out great performances from his female leads and ushering those movies with female leads as well. Dumb Money is a fun little movie. It's a good movie. Nick Offerman, Seth Rogen. It's about the GameStop crash that happened over COVID. So the guy's in the zeitgeist constantly. He's out here perfecting his craft, constantly making films. So having Supergirl be the next one on the list doesn't bother me at all. I'm very much excited to see what Craig Gillespie does. Now, a lot of people were probably wondering why not a female director for this. Listen, they said that the other contender was a female director, and that they felt that sort of Craig Gillespie was the best person to sort of take on this movie. And if that's the case, then that's the case. As long as you gave the opportunity for there to be a female director, as long as you sort of you approached enough of them. I find it slightly hard to believe that none of them probably could direct it, or none of them were the best choice. But hey, listen, if they went and did a huge search on who was best to portray Kara's story and Kara's progression into becoming the Supergirl we want her to be, and they found out that Craig was the person to do it, then by all means Craig should be the person to do it. Because it's no good having this tempo female led film if it sucks. Then the message doesn't even work. But if it's a good movie, and then it works. Like Black Panther wouldn't have been Black Panther if it was a bad movie. Like the clamor and the movement, the real like cultural movement that happened with Black Panther only happens because it was a good movie. Whether or not you might have disliked certain aspects of it, or maybe you didn't think it was that great, the ultimate sort of movie goer and the general audience sort of on average liked that movie and would claim that it's a good movie. So that's why that had that cultural movement. Of course, it's because it was a mostly black cast, a black director, for the first time in the MCU. But that would not work if it was a crappy movie. Like, it would just be, oh, we tried it, and do you know what I mean? The cultural like reset and the cultural phenomenon it become was because it was as well as just being this black movie, it was a good movie. So same thing with Wonder Woman in the DCEU. That first Wonder Woman was beloved and still is beloved by many. And yes, it's amazing the fact that we had Patty Jenkins at the helm of that and Gal Gadot. But like I said, it would not have been what it was if it wasn't a good movie. So if they feel like the best version of this Supergirl happens with Craig Gillespie at the helm, then by all means, let's have Craig Gillespie at the helm of this one. Okay, next up I have a little thing that just slightly annoys me. It's not the biggest news story to come out in the past week or so, but it's something I did want to talk about. Just because as a person who aspires to make movies for a living, as a person who first and foremost loves film, like otherwise why would I be doing this, is this story annoys me. So coming from The Sun, Millie Bobby Brown's latest movie amassed 50 million views in just 2 weeks. Good for her. But the actress will not be sitting down to watch it. Despite her Hollywood career, the 20-year-old Brit has revealed she does not have the attention span to sit through an entire film, even if Damsel has become Netflix's most watched title of the week. Millie, who plays Princess Elodie in the fantasy adventure, said, "I don't watch movies. People come up to me and say, you should definitely watch this movie. It would change your life." And I'm like, how long do I have to sit there for? Because my brain and I don't even like sitting for my own movies. The in-demand actress is also short on leisure time as she is filming the eagerly anticipated 5th and final series of sci-fi mega hit Stranger Things, as well as planning her wedding for Jake so-and-so, the son of rocker John Bon Jovi. Oh, really? I didn't know he was the son of Bon. She's getting married to John Bon Jovi's son. I didn't know that. Okay. I'm sort of like glad I didn't know that. I'm some 24-year-old man that shouldn't be keeping up to date with a 21-year-old girl's life. The US model and actor proposed to Millie under blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't care about this anymore. Millie said, "My fiance is the biggest movie buff. He just sits down and watches a movie all day, and I cannot do that. That is the one thing I cannot do. But I really love Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and I love Mad Max. So I feel like I'm always channeling that in a badass." Okay. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is not just, I don't want to just be having a go at Millie Bobby Brown, because that's not cool. So this isn't just in particular about her, and it's weird for me to like come on the internet just to shit on some little girl. So I'm not going to do that. But what I'm going to do is shit on the concept of people coming into this industry, having not been fans originally, especially like filmmakers and actors, because especially directors and actors, sorry, like those two roles in particular, you can't get away with not having this like thirst for wanting to see more performances, wanting to see more movies, so it can inspire you to make different choices, to make bolder decisions while you're doing these things. Like, it just makes me question, why does somebody do what they do? Why are you in this industry that's not, it's not an easy ride? Like, regardless of, yes, she might have started, Millie Bobby Brown might have started very young, but regardless, like, and it doesn't mean her path was easy. So I can't imagine it, her path must have been easy. So, and it's probably not, and it's not easy for anybody. So why would you go through that if you don't truly love it? If you don't truly love what we're doing? Do you know what I mean? So the only reason you're doing that is fame, fortune, so all of the wrong reasons. And eventually it'll filter you out. This industry will filter you out, and if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, at a certain time, this will catch up with you. It will catch up with you, because I feel like it is so important for an actor to have previous knowledge of what makes a good decision as an actor. What makes a good script? What makes a bad script? Why is this script so good that I've read, but the movie wasn't that great? So what could have happened in between that? That's great for a director to do. Why did they go with this shot in particular and not this shot? Why is the sequence starting from here to here as opposed to, why did they structure it this way as opposed to that way? So many things you gather just from watching previous movies, whether it's classics, good movies, blockbusters, crap duds, all of these things you will learn from. Regardless, you'll learn from. And now here's the thing, I'm not attacking people that don't have the attention span. Some people literally are easily distracted and don't have the attention span to sit down for 2 hours and a half. I'm not blaming you and I'm not attacking you, but I am annoyed at people that are that really want to get into an industry like become an actor and have no knowledge in previous staples when it comes to performances. So if you how can I take you seriously if you say you want to act if you haven't seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, if you haven't seen A Wonderful Life, if you haven't seen Casablanca, if you haven't seen The Long Goodbye, if you haven't seen whatever. And here's the thing, everyone's going to have holes in their knowledge. I haven't watched every single movie ever. That's fine. Everyone's going to have holes in their knowledge and everyone's going to try and fill those holes. No pun intended. But the fact that you're at least have the intention to and the desire to fill those holes and become knowledgeable in what you lack in, that seeking of knowledge will never stop, and it should never stop, because there are too many movies for you to watch everything. But there are some staples that, like, if you don't at least attempt to, there are reasons why these performances or these films are held in such high regard. So why wouldn't you want to go back and have a look at things that have done well for people, served them well, with decisions that have helped people progress in their career, or sort of performances that you as an actor get inspired from, films that you as a director get inspired from. So those kind of comments really irk me. They really irk me, because there are so many people busting their ass to try and get into this industry because of how much they love it. They're sacrificing so much, whether it's having a regular job, whether it's making as much money as they possibly could, whether it's spending time with people that they love, because that happens if you want to be in this industry. So the fact that people are doing this, they're not doing it just because they want the fame or the fortune or what. Because let me tell you, 99.999% of the people working in the industry today don't have that. But they do it because they love what they do. Costume designers make costumes and are on set for so long because they love what they do. Do you know what I mean? Gaffers aren't there because they're fucking obsessed with light in their normal day to day, but they want to have their contribution on film because they love what they do, because they love movies. So my question to you is, if you're a person that wants to be an actor or is a working actor already, how are you going to say, I don't like movies, I don't watch movies? Like it's some cool, I'm this cool person, I don't really even watch movies, I'm just out here making them. Screw you. Screw you. Because you've got so much, you're just disrespecting everything that's come before you. You're disrespecting all of these, you're disrespecting the establishment that has come before you. And plus, there's no way you progress without having gone backwards. How do you become better? How do you get better if you don't see the people that have come before you, the people that are already on top of you? How do you get better? Surely, like, it just boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. You're not going to hear Michael Jackson go, nah, bruh, I ain't never listening to no James Brown, no Lil Richard, none of these guys. No, you hear the greatest of all time in that category, whether that's my opinion or not. Like, consensually, he's the king of pop. So you don't hear someone like that bash the people that come before him, because essentially saying I don't have the attention span or I don't want to watch something is bashing the people that worked on it, whether they know that or not. And again, I'm not trying to just single on Millie Bobby Brown, because even in my limited time and limited experience working and trying to make movies, I come across people that also have the similar mentality of like, I would love to do this and I'm working on doing this, but I can't be arsed watching stuff. Like, it's annoying. It's just annoying when you see people don't have that same love for something as you do, and it might be unfair to judge people on that, but it's still like low-key disrespectful. Because like I said, you don't hear MJ chatting crap about, you don't see Lionel Messi going, yeah, I've never seen a Maradona highlight, or I never checked him out. You don't hear Kobe trashing on Michael Jordan or saying, oh yeah, I've never watched a basketball life in my life. No, he's probably the biggest basketball nerd when it comes to it. And it's no surprise that when you come across these big directors or these like really successful actors, they first and foremost are huge fans. Like, Quentin Tarantino probably has not come across a film he has not watched, and he's constantly inspired by these films, and you see him in his movies. You see these inspirations from Scorsese's movies, that like whether it's like Fellini's 8.5 or whatever it may be, but you see those, like, literally, like, sometimes they just rip shit from old movies and put them in their movies from stuff they love. But that's what being an artist sometimes is. It's like a great artist steals sometimes. And how do you not have, you're limiting yourself from so much progression by not checking these things out. It's just a bit annoying to me. Like, stuff like that just irks me just a slight bit. And yes, it might coming from like a person that, yes, it's funny coming from this person that is like constantly watching movies and constantly like dreaming about making them, and is in the process of making them, and is ready to go into production on his next short film, and is in post-production on his last. And so I'm in that grind, but it doesn't stop me from watching movies. So like, and from getting inspired. And I know I'm nowhere near anybody's level that I'm talking about in these videos, and I completely understand that. But it's just the wherewithal, and it's just this arrogance that, like, yeah, I don't need to check out what's come before me. I don't need to stay up to date with great performances just because my intuition is great, and I've just got great instincts. Like, it just comes off like egotistical as hell. Even if she might have not meant it, or whoever, even if the person that was saying this statement outside of Millie Bobby Brown, whoever, it just comes off so egotistical and just straight up stupid. I'm just like, I feel bad for you, because there's gonna be a level and there's gonna be a ceiling because of the fact you're not willing to do that homework and go back in it. If you like, there's a reason why people are getting so vexed over like people's letterbox 4 sometimes. Over people's letterbox 4 sometimes, because they're so highbrow or whatever. It's not because they're so highbrow and actors want you to think they're smart, or directors want. It's because these people have seen so much crap, because they've watched so many movies that they've gotten such a big pool of inspiration from, because they've put themselves out there and putting themselves in the space of watching all of this stuff. And then, so that's why the youths might see their stuff as highbrow. It's not really highbrow. It's just, if you've watched 5,000 movies in your life, and somebody that's watching your letterbox 4 has probably watched like what, 500, 400. Of course, you're very unlikely to understand all the 4 that he's named. And it's not being pretentious or highbrow. It's literally, I watch more than you do. I consume more of this than you do. So, of course, you're not going to understand some of the things I'm trying to portray. Of course, you're not going to get the references I'm trying to make. That's why I'm putting them in the shit I'm doing, because I know you're not wary of it. So it's just it just reeks of this just like self-righteous, egotistical like bullshit. And I just needed to get that off my chest. I really did need to get that off my chest. Okay, last topic today. It's a rough one, lads. I'm not feeling great, but we're powering through. We're powering through. Last topic of the day was announces new Matrix movie helmed by Drew Goddard, writer of The Martian, Cloverfield, and World War Z, will write and direct fifth film in groundbreaking cyberpunk franchise. Excuse me. Moviegoers are headed back to The Matrix. Warner Brothers. The thing is now, The Matrix is just like, it needs new PR, just because like things that like those red pill folks and Andrew Tate and his little goons, they've just ruined that name. They just co-opted that IP and just fucked it up. Moviegoers are headed back to The Matrix. Warner Brothers announced on Wednesday that The Martian screenwriter Drew Goddard will write and direct a new movie in the sci-fi action franchise for the studio. This will be the first in the cyberpunk series, which includes the 99 original, as well as The Matrix Reloaded, The Matrix Revolution, and The Matrix Resurrections, not to directly involve its co-creators Lana or Lily Wachowski. Though Lana is attached as executive producer, no word yet on whether the franchise stars Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie-Anne Moss, Hugo Weaving, and Jada Pinkett Smith will return. Goddard, who won an Oscar nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay for The Martian in 2016, has considerable sci-fi credits, having started his writing career on the 90s show Buffy, before moving on to such shows as Angel, Alias, and Lost. He is the creator of Marvel's Daredevil, yes he is, which ran from 2015 to 2018 on Netflix, and an executive producer and director on NBC's beloved comedy series The Good Place. Additional screenwriting credits include Cloverfield, The Cabin in the Woods, and World War Z. It was Goddard who brought the idea of another Matrix film to Warner Brothers after 2021's Matrix Resurrection grossed less than hoped for, hitting $159 million worldwide, in part due to a pandemic same-day streaming release. Drew came to Warner Brothers with a new idea that we all believe would be an incredible way to begin the Matrix world, by both honouring what Lana and Lily began over 25 years ago, offering a unique perspective based on how his own love of the series and characters, says J.C. Ehrman. Warner Brothers Motion Picture President of Production, in a statement, the entire team at Warner Brothers is thrilled for Drew to be making his own Matrix film, adding his vision to the cinematic canon. The Wachowskis spent a quarter of a century building here. Okay, so the main sort of issue people have is the fact that the Wachowskis aren't attached to this. Of course, Lana is an executive producer, but people's issue is this is the Wachowskis' IP. This is the Wachowskis' baby. So we should not be getting any non-Wachowskis Matrix movies ever, which is stupid. It's stupid, because I beg you, tell me 2 Matrix movies that are good. All of them have been involving the Wachowskis. I think they directed every single one. So name me 2 that are good. I'm waiting. Exactly. They've made one good Matrix movie. Out of all these, it's also very impressive that how big of a cultural statement that the Matrix was, because even though we've gotten not 1, not 2, but 3 shitty sequels, it still doesn't surprise people that they're making another one, and it's still such a significant movie in not only science fiction lore and science fiction history, but film history and just pop culture in general. So it's the first Matrix movie is a huge monument in film and in filmmaking and in everything. But every other one after that have sucked. They've sucked. So if it means getting a fresh view from a fresh perspective, I'm down for it. Why? I don't understand the hatred this is getting. Like, okay, Drew Goddard has given us Daredevil, despite so many people at Marvel TV back in the day trying to can that show, Drew Goddard Marvel's Daredevil was his baby. Cabin in the Woods is a delightful flick. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. He wrote The Martian, Cloverfield movies. He's got a great track record so far. Okay, he's good place. Like, the guy's got bangers after bangers. He says this is like, Warner Brothers didn't even approach him. It was not Warner Brothers' idea. So let's make a new Matrix movie. Let's get a director for hire and let's just bang this out so we can make some money. That's not what happened. If that's what happened, if what happened was Warner Brothers was like, yo, we were looking to make a new Matrix movie. Let's not get the Wachowskis because we're not feeling, either they don't want to make another one, or they don't have an idea for another one, or the previous ones they've done bombed, even though, yes, they all sucked, but the last one did come out during a pandemic, so that would have affected the numbers. Regardless, if they were like, yes, so we want to make another Matrix movie so we can make some revenue, we're not going to go with the Wachowskis, which you're going to get for a director for hire, someone who probably doesn't really give a shit, just so we can make some money. If that's how this went, fair enough. Get mad. Matrix fans, you get mad. But it clearly states that Drew Goddard was a fan. He's someone that came and pitched Warner Brothers this idea. He went to them and pitched this idea. This was not something in development. This was someone that has come just strictly out of passion and love for the property and has said, I've got a great idea for a new Matrix movie. Do you guys want to make it? And Warner Brothers, who, let's be real, Warner Brothers, Sony, all studios are not gonna, it's not easy for them to greenlit stuff, okay? Even if it's an existing IP. Do you know how many times people have tried to make movies based on existing IPs previously? Like, every director tries to pitch for an existing IP. They don't always greenlit them. Like, at the end of the day, they're gonna be wary and cautious of how much money they give people and how and whether or not they want to give a person money in the first place, especially on a franchise that has proven that is not always a box office success. So the fact that they were like so like well taken by this man's pitch and were like, okay, greenlit, you've got a go picture, let's fucking wait and see. Honestly, these man are crazy, bruv. Let him make this movie. He was so inspired and so gassed and passionate to make this. Let him make this crap. Just let him make it and then wait and see. Then wait and see. Okay, those are my thoughts on The Matrix and Drew Goddard. That is the show today. Oh, I hope you had a great day. I hope you had an enjoyable 45 minutes or so with me. I love so much and giving me some pushback. Like, I'm very rarely right, so I just have a loud voice. So just give me some pushback. What was I wrong today? What did you not agree with me? And then I will fight you back in the comments. Okay, have a lovely day. Stay blessed. Salam, mofos.